Welcome to SOS Media, your number one source of the latest news, opinions, and in-depth investigations that dig deeper into today's developing stories around the globe. On Thursday, November 17, 2022, in federal court in Brooklyn, New York, Donald Russell was sentenced by United States District Judge Ann M. Donnelly to 20 months imprisonment for his alleged participation in a scheme to harass, intimidate, and cause substantial emotional distress to Jane Doe, an alleged victim in the Eastern District of New York racketeering case against R. Kelly and Jane Doe's mother. The United States Attorney for the Eastern District of New York, Breon Peace, announced the sentence. According to a release from the Department of Justice, Donald Russell, who was then 47, was charged with interstate stalking and used phone calls, emails, and text messages in an attempt to harass and intimidate the victim, identified only as Jane Doe, as well as her mother. We should also remember that in December 2019, Russell was charged and later sentenced to 1 year in federal prison for making threatening phone calls during the 2018 screening of Surviving R. Kelly. Donald Russell, who briefly managed R. Kelly as he faced growing abuse allegations, was sentenced for his crime in a New York court, and as the judge handed down his sentence, Russell claimed he was not a horrible person, but admitted to making bad judgments during his time working with R. Kelly. The U.S. District Judge Paul Gardifi, however, condemned the then 47-year-old as someone who took part in serious criminal conduct, in a misguided attempt to protect someone who was facing abuse allegations. In his phone call, Russell claimed someone at the event had a gun and intended to open fire. The theater was subsequently evacuated and the screening called off. "I was happy that it ended. I didn't question how it ended," Russell said of the cancelled premiere during his sentencing hearing. These unfortunate and rather unrealistic docuseries, which aired on Lifetime in 2019 and helped lead to R. Kelly's eventual imprisonment, detailed the allegations that the R&B king abused women and girls. Some of the alleged accusers were scheduled to speak on a panel after the screening. Prosecutors linked Russell to the crime through phone records and a text he sent about police potentially arriving at the venue. He was convicted in July of threatening physical harm through interstate communication, although he was acquitted of conspiracy. Donald Russell eventually had to serve his sentence concurrently with another conviction related to his efforts to suppress R. Kelly's accusers. In November 2022, Don Russell was sentenced to 20 months in prison for stalking one of R. Kelly's alleged victims in order to silence her. Donald Russell pleaded guilty in federal court in July 2022 to interstate stalking after he used phone calls, emails, and texts to harass and intimidate the victim and her mother, then identified only as Jane Doe. The incidents occurred from 2018 through February 2020, with Russell attempting to coerce the Jane Doe alleged victim into backing out of testifying, by sending letters written on behalf of R. Kelly to her lawyer with cropped photos of her nude attached. He then allegedly sent the same photos to the victim's mother with messages such as, "Publishing soon and you've been warned." Russell used threats, harassment, and intimidation in a deliberate effort to silence one of R. Kelly's victims and prevent her voice from being heard, United States Attorney Breon Peace wrote in a statement at the time. When his initial effort failed, he continued his vile campaign by sending threatening messages to Jane Doe and her mother, and publishing explicit photos of the victim on the internet before and after R. Kelly was indicted. As this prosecution makes clear, the defendant's conduct was not only reprehensible but it was also criminal and will not be tolerated, he added. It is now about time for Don Russell to walk free, as we have reliably learned that his release date is scheduled for the 10th of June 2024, just a little over a month from today. We, however, sadly know that R. Kelly is still incarcerated at the Butner Correctional Institute, though we remain highly optimistic that his release isn't very far from today. Despite frustrations from the government, R. Kelly's appeal proceedings and arguments presented by his attorney Jennifer Bonjean leave us with a lot of hope that R. Kelly will too be coming back home very soon. We are for sure aware that R. Kelly was wrongly convicted because he remains factually innocent. All that the prosecution relied on remains just hearsay with no evidence whatsoever. We also know the fact that there were procedural errors that violated R. Kelly's personal rights. Notable among others remains the fact that the law broke the law when the Bureau of Prisons staff stole R. Kelly's private prison information, and then sold it to Tasha K., who in turn availed it to the government's prosecutors, who used it to flip an alleged victim's position in testimony. There are more innocent people in our jails and prisons today than ever before. The rate of exonerations continues to rise, revealing an unreliable system of criminal justice. More than half of wrongful convictions can be traced to witnesses who lied in court or made false accusations. In 2018, a record number of exonerations involved misconduct by government officials. Other leading causes of wrongful convictions include mistaken eyewitness identifications, false or misleading forensic science, and jailhouse informants. African Americans are burdened by a presumption of guilt that most defense lawyers are not prepared to overcome. As a result, African Americans make up 47% of exonerations, even though they are only 13% of the population. Innocent black people are about 7 times more likely to be convicted of murder than innocent white people, and black people who are convicted of murder are about 50% more likely to be innocent than non-black people convicted of murder. As a point to note, there are more innocent people in our jails and prisons today than ever before. The rate of exonerations continues to rise, revealing an unreliable system of criminal justice. A lack of accountability for police and prosecutors, reliance on junk science or mistaken eyewitnesses, and the indigent defense crisis are major contributors to wrongful convictions that have undermined the credibility of our system and ruined the lives of innocent men and women. A conviction may be classified as wrongful when a person convicted is factually innocent of the charges, or if there were procedural errors that violated the convicted person's rights. More than half of wrongful convictions can be traced to witnesses who lied in court or made false accusations. In 2018, a record number of exonerations involved misconduct by government officials. The strength of our criminal justice system depends on its accuracy and its ability to convict the guilty and to clear the innocent. But we know that wrongful convictions happen, but identifying and understanding the causes is critical to maintaining the integrity of our justice system. As we continue to witness new developments occurring towards R. Kelly's appeal proceedings, we can just stay optimistic that this time around, the relevant truth will be put into consideration. This is the ray of hope that makes us keep our breath and hold. We believe R. Kelly and his legal team will be able to outline all the injustices, misinterpretations of the law, cases of lying and witness tampering that have marred all R. Kelly's legal proceedings, and that the law, truth and justice will this time along prevail. It has been a long wait, and we can't wait any longer to see R. Kelly regain his deserved freedom. Thank you for watching today's video, brought to you by SOS Media. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please subscribe, and hit the bell icon so you never miss any of our videos. Also remember to leave your comment about today's topic in the comment section below.